Hi, I'm Jason McGerr. Welcome to my studio, Two Sticks Audio, the very drum-centric haven here where we recorded all of the content for the new Jason McGerr Sessions refill for 4.0. I've always wanted to sample my own drums. I enjoy programming drums, and I enjoy the user-friendly application of Reason. When I got the opportunity to work with Propellerhead and create a content library, I totally jumped at it. This refill was pretty heavily influenced by my teaching background, I think. For, 10 or 12 years now, literally sitting down, 4 or 5 days a week. That is when I'm not on tour. And working with students and playing through just an entire library of content. And especially when you work on, fills and beginnings and endings, and you talk about those building blocks in a drum lesson in the same way that we composed this refill. I'm gonna give you a little history. I was always a video game kid. I think the Atari 2600 got me started on problem solving on a screen with a joystick. Getting into computers and taking music and playing the game, I guess, if you will, on your keyboard, I've always had that side of me. And Reason is really the most intuitive platform that I've ever used. As a drummer, I've always wanted to be a chameleon. I like to think more and more that I have a sound that people can recognize, but I still want to be that chameleon and be able to have a lot of different tricks in the bag, to have a different feel, a different way of tuning, a different way of hitting. I mean, I really get into switching my sticks around just to have a different velocity and a different tonality to cymbals and drums. When we started making this refill, the goal was to be versatile enough to work for different styles of music, whether it's electronic or pop music or hip hop. A friend of mine said a quote not that long ago that I love to repeat, which is, hardening of the categories promotes art disease. Especially when it comes to drums, I don't think that because we don't have notes per se and it's just a feel thing, that whatever feel works is going to be what's going to make the song work best. I hope that the versatility in a lot of the content, especially with the Rex loops, is going to allow people to do that. This is Tommy 01. The refill's got a lot of different styles. Tommy, the first style, is just kind of a meat and potatoes, straight ahead, pop, rock type, backbeat approach. We have this joke as drummers where we refer to the money beat. The money beat being the one that sells the records, the simplest, just boom, cut, boom, cut. I train and practice to be able to do all these different technical things behind the kit, but it really comes back to very simple, basic drumming a lot of the time. So on this refill, I do the simple thing and I give the building blocks for creating a very musical composition, and then I also try to let some tricks out of the bag and go nuts a little bit more. And I think that's more evident in the Respectanize folder. This is snare drum number 2. This is a custom-made, it's a Keplinger 4x13 black iron snare drum, but I used this drum when I did the loops for Respectanize. Here's Respectanize Groove 2. When we set out to record the sounds for this refill, we wanted to have a lot of different options. So we threw up a bunch of microphones in different positions around the room because we wanted to take a different picture, a snapshot of what was going on. We wanted some different room ambience. We wanted some up-close, tight mic sounds. What you're hearing on the refill is hopefully the way that my drums sound when you're standing right next to them. And they're definitely the way that they sound to me when I'm sitting behind the drum set. It's very representative. Most of what I worked with was outboard mic pre's rather than board pre's. The Vintech 473 was what I chose for kick drums, and I think snare drums too. Neve Porticos I lean pretty heavily on as well. There's a company called Chandler Limited that makes a really great compressor called the TG1, a very Abbey Road sounding compressor. And I really like putting those on my overheads and coloring room mics with them as well. It wasn't like a use what you got, it was use everything you got to get all these sounds. After the last Death Cab show of our last tour, I set out to begin a new project. I wanted to build a studio. We as a band did, I think 6 weeks of recording here. We just finished up. And that's what makes me excited about this refill, is a lot of the sounds that we got on the record came from this room and this drum set right here and this vibe. So we hyper-sampled this drum kit and these sounds with both ambient room mics and close mics so that you could choose between a tight sounding kit or a kit with a bunch of air and room around it. And the idea being that you could blend in those different effects or those different sonic properties. That, to me, is the selling point as a real drummer. To not be limited to just one sound of one drum set, but to really create a space around the kit. Individual samples at different velocities with different distances and a different picture is what we tried to do with the hypersampling. Working on this refill, recording all the loops and samples for this refill prepared me, in a sense, for recording the new Death Cab record. And I used the same drum kit, and I used the same room, and I used the same cymbals. I had a new bag of tricks kind of when it came into doing this record. Check this out, guys. This is a muscular feel. This is a thing that I've been doing that I don't even need to think about. It's just, it feels really good. I think that you really enjoy this refill, and I hope that you make some discoveries with it. I tried to set you up with some examples and some ways that I tweak the sounds within reason, but just the raw samples and files are the things that I'm most excited about. So enjoy it.